Welcome to Authors Revealed. I'm Becky Anderson. We have a New York Times #1 debut author. It's called The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. Well, Paula, welcome to Anderson's and to Naperville.
Thank you very much.
We are so thrilled you are here.
I'm thrilled to be here.
Oh my gosh, this is a book that we love hand selling. This is an easy sell. But I want to know how you're feeling, because this is incredible, debuting at #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. That doesn't happen very often.
No, I know it's been extraordinary. I haven't fully processed it all yet. I don't think it doesn't feel real to me.
Yeah. So the book, it was out here, it's been out about 2.5 weeks?
13th of January it came out.
And then 2 days later in the UK, right?
Mm-hmm, that's right.
So what are you hearing from friends, family, just readers in general?
There's, from readers I don't know, there's been a fantastic response on things like Twitter and Facebook.
Right,
People have contacted to say they love it, so that's wonderful. My friends tell me they like it, but they have to, don't they? So my mum likes it, she says.
Well, that's good. That your mom likes it. So I can't believe this book already, because we've been selling it so incredibly well, but it's already in its 10th printing here in the States.
Yeah,
which is to me is phenomenal, and it's over 250,000 copies. So 250,000 copies are out in the world.
Yeah, the figures are just staggering. I just can't get my head around them. It's amazing.
Well, we can, because we can totally understand why. So we'll just reassure you that it's okay. You can feel this way. So this book, it fits into a couple of different genres. It's a psychological thriller, but it's also a mystery, and but it has 3 narrators.
Mm-hmm.
But the main narrator is a very unreliable person, and her name is Rachel Watson.
Yes.
And she commutes back and forth to London. And I think it's sort of like what a lot of us do when we're sitting, whether we're sitting in an airport or we're sitting in a car or we're just people watching. Mm-hmm. We kind of are those little bit of the voyeur where we watch, and we're creating stories about people in our heads. So tell us a little bit about Rachel and what she's doing on these rides from a London suburb into London.
Well, Rachel, the thing about Rachel is she's a bit depressed. She's lonely. Her marriage has broken up recently, and so she's on her commute. And there's a particular couple that she sees who live in a house just by the train tracks, and she sees them out there having a coffee or whatever. And she's basically become rather obsessed with them. She sees them as this golden couple with a perfect marriage, and she's sort of projecting a lot of feelings onto them and creating a whole narrative for herself about who these people are. And all that comes from the slightly lonely and vulnerable position that she's in.
Right. Where did she come from? Because I think she's what an incredible character, and I felt such sympathy for her, but I felt her voice was so strong that I felt I was inside her head at times.
Yeah, it's a character that I've been thinking about for a while. Somebody who had a drink problem and had memory issues related to the drink problem. I thought that would make an interesting, unreliable narrator.
Sure.
I'm a sucker for an unreliable narrator. And I like the fact that in Rachel's case, she's unreliable not just to the reader and to other characters, but even to herself. She can't trust herself. Right. So yeah, she's a character that I'd been thinking about for a long time. So it's good to hear that you believed in her voice.
And I know some people may not sympathize with her, but I felt so sorry for her, and almost wanted to shake her, like, don't do that, don't do that.
People have, I think people do have quite strong reactions to her, and some people just don't have any patience with addicts. But I think you have to have a bit of sympathy for poor Rachel. Yeah. She's trying.
Yeah, I love the way you set this book up. When you read it, you have the day and the date and sort of morning or night. It's kind of like set up like a diary in a way, and I love the format because it's like you're reading it in real time in a way. So did you set it up like that?
Yeah, I did. I wanted that sort of morning, evening, the routine of her commute, going backwards and forwards. It was actually really useful for me as a writer as well to have that structure imposed upon myself. It kind of it drives you forward, and I think from the reader's perspective as well, it sets up a rhythm that kind of draws you into the story and you want to keep going. Sort of that locomotive rhythm, which is quite nice.
So knowing that, and this book is hard to talk about without spoiling it, so we have to watch those spoilers.
Yeah.
It's very hard. And I'm going to tell you, for someone who reads a lot and talks to other people who read a lot, those books that, oh, I figured that out. You got us.
Oh,
You
really?
got us on this one. I mean, the
that's great to
twist
hear.
was a twist. So congratulations, because you got some of us who we figured these things out. But just wondering about outlining when you're working on something like this and a story like this, and knowing where to drop all the little breadcrumbs along the way. Because now when you do get to that twist, which we can't say what it is, and you've dropped those little clues along the way, is that hard to do that? And considering that you're telling this in 3 voices, mostly Rachel's, but or was it something you already had planned out outlining it, or did you let it surprise you?
I'd outlined most of it. I knew basically where I was going.
Okay.
But there were things that surprised me. There were characters that sort of changed as I was writing them. And those actually, that's the really fun bit, when something you've created actually surprises you, and moments just dawn upon you. But yeah, I knew basically where I was going, because I don't have the confidence to just say, oh, well, we'll see where this goes. That would be terrifying.
So when you're surprising yourself, you know it's going to surprise us for sure. I mean, a lot of times, but it did. I think it did in those parts. The way you describe Rachel, even her physical appearance, she's always disheveled, her clothes are dirty, she's sweaty. I mean, all these different things about her. The visual part of this really created her in my mind. And I could so see her, and that voice of hers was just so strong. Did you sort of envision somebody like this? Because you must have done some research considering what alcoholism does in people who have blackouts and those sort of things.
I did. I read up about blackouts a bit. We live in quite a booze-soaked culture in the UK. Most people know someone who's been touched by these kinds of issues.
Sure.
But yeah, Rachel, we are seeing basically as she is hitting rock bottom. We're seeing her absolute worst when she's let things go, and she really isn't in a very good state at all.
Yeah. But the other themes of the book is the other 2 women that the narration is about. This couple she sees and creates this golden couple that she sees, and you find out she gives her the name of
it's Jess and Jason.
Jess and Jason.
Which aren't their names, but
yes. Yeah. But in fact, that her name is really Megan, and we can say that Megan ends up disappearing, but we do hear her voice in this, and we also hear from her ex-husband's new wife. But there's some other themes that come into this, and it's not only alcoholism and what it does to one person, but it's also there's some domestic abuse in there. There's some other things that you throw into this story that these 3 women and they all have very distinct voices in this. So did you do any other research to put in those themes, or just
not really? I think they're all there's things like infidelity, infertility, those kind of issues. There are things that they're quite dark, but they are issues that affect an awful lot of people, aren't they, in some way? We either know someone or have someone in the family. So I think there are issues that we read a lot about in the newspapers, that sort of thing. So I didn't do any specific research.
Yeah. But I liked it's Anna is right.
It's the other woman.
The
new wife.
The new wife. The new wife.
She was the other woman.
But
now she's
even
the new
her
wife.
issues as a mother. I mean, the struggles with that were so real.
These women are all in their late 20s, early 30s, kind of, and it's a time at which issues around motherhood are really brought to the fore, aren't they? Everyone's making decisions about when they're going to have children, how many, and those decisions become sort of laden with judgment from other people. Make assumptions about who you are based on these very, really personal decisions that you make. Right. So that for me was quite an interesting thing to look at. Yeah.
I really like the way Rachel, she doesn't know what really is the truth. We don't know what the truth is. But it's when all that collides is where we are guessing as much as she's guessing and wondering what is real and what is imaginary.
Exactly, because she literally can't trust her memories, and she now isn't sure what she's imagined, and because her perceptions of other people are very off base because of the life she's living. She's really isolated herself. Right. So she sees other people looking at her, and she imagines that they're disapproving of her. They're probably not even noticing her, but she's become quite paranoid. Yeah.
And that paranoia, even where she's rooming with another woman, and even all the problems she's having, there's that cringe factor you have for her. I mean, it's so palatable in a lot of these situations. But also the way she's sort of stalking her ex-husband.
Yes,
But all these things she's doing, that she's lost sort of her self-awareness of how things she's reacting
Yes.
to other people in the world. Yeah.
Absolutely, and I think that comes with her isolation, that she's not really got a sounding board anymore. She's not got a friend to say, look, what on earth are you doing here? Stop it, pull yourself together.
Yeah. But the book is, I guess, one of the descriptions you call it, it's slippery.
Yes.
And sort of, it does. It literally takes you on a literary ride on this train, but it is slippery because you're not sure.
I think a lot of it is about our perceptions and how those perceptions shift, and I wanted that feeling to come across for the reader as well, that you're constantly making judgments about characters, and then that in the next chapter those might change depending on whose voice you're hearing.
Right. There's been so many comparisons, and I want to know. I'm sure you're flattered, with the whole Gone Girl thing, but it's very different to me. I can see how people would compare it because I think just from the one aspect of being that unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
And in that book you had the two voices.
Yeah.
But here you have three. One who's particularly unreliable. But having those three voices, you're getting. Why did you choose three voices and not just do the whole thing from Rachel's? Because in another way, I guess you're seeing something from another person's eyes.
Well, when I started writing the book, I was my original plan very early on was just to write it from Rachel's perspective, and then I felt no, we've got to hear from Megan in order to tell her backstory. I needed to have Megan's voice as well, and then I decided that I'd introduce Anna as well, and I thought that was really interesting because it was good to be able to see Megan and Rachel from somebody else's viewpoint. And also once I was in Anna's head, her character slightly changed. Once I was seeing everything through her eyes, her character started to change as well. So that did kind of develop organically, having the three narrators.
And she was so interesting because you could sense all the different emotions she's got. I mean, there was so much fear. I mean, fear of Rachel in some ways.
The mad ex-wife who won't leave them alone. Yeah, absolutely.
But also,
and she's just had a baby, so she's in that quite vulnerable state where you're perhaps quite oversensitive about things, but she has a legitimate reason to be worried about Rachel's behaviour. So
So the audio of this book, which is interesting, it's sort of a full cast kind of audio in a way. Instead of having one person doing the whole audio.
No, they've got three
voices.
To do
the three voices, which is very cool. I haven't listened to it, but it looks like it sounds like it would be fabulous.
I have to say I haven't listened to it all the way through. Perhaps I shouldn't say that.
That's okay. You can say that. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So, knowing that the book came out just 2 days later in the UK. Are the reactions pretty much the same from readers at home and what they are?
Yeah, I think broadly, yes. I think I've probably been more surprised by how enthused people in the United States have been, just because no one expects to be big in the US. If you're English, you don't expect to be successful. When you're unknown, you don't expect that.
Sure.
So but generally, I think they've been quite similar reactions. Yeah.
I love the cover. So what do you think?
Oh, I love it. It's beautiful. It's a gorgeous cover.
Now, is it the same?
It's not the same in the UK.
Okay, so what is the UK? I didn't see what that looked like.
The UK one it's black with a train running across the middle. I don't know why I'm looking around. I'm not going to see it. And it's kind of a blurred train.
Sure.
So it's very different, but I think UK and US covers are always really different. I think they're much sort of more graphic and designed here than they are in. More literal in the UK, I think.
Yeah, I know, but everyone's commented on the cover because of the blurred images. So, this book, and some other people have said the same thing, it reminds you of a good Alfred Hitchcock film. And it's because of the emotions, it's the tension, it's all those emotions rolled into one, because you're fearful for the characters, you can see them just sweating because they don't know what's happening either. And it's just one of those feelings, and I would like to do that comparison more than I would do it to Gone Girl. So,
well, I think the Rear Window thing always comes up because you've got somebody who spots something through a window. Okay, here that's an apartment.
Right.
But yeah, I think it is the sense of suspicion, paranoia, and self-doubt that you often get in Hitchcock, where people can't trust their own memories or trust what people are telling them, or and I love that kind of that atmosphere of. suspicion and paranoia.
Right. So if they make the movie, you have to appear like Alfred Hitchcock did. Say.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah,
Good
you should
idea.
do. You should do a little cameo. I think that would be great. So I did see that the rights have been optioned
They have, yes.
by DreamWorks. So
Yes, so they have somebody writing the script as we speak, apparently.
Wow.
So, but I'm not directly involved in that part of it. So we shall
well,
see.
that's pretty cool.
It is.
Now, so you must have thought of who would be Rachel.
As
Who
well,
would
the
be
Rachel's
Anna?
really difficult to cast because
Yeah.
she's not. You think of Hollywood actresses; they're always incredibly beautiful, and
Right,
Rachel is somebody
right.
who isn't. So they'll have to do that thing where they make a very beautiful woman look less beautiful.
Yeah.
But no, there isn't. I've found Rachel really tricky. Actually,
Yeah.
I can't think of anyone.
What about Anna or Megan? Maybe.
Well, Megan, I thought of Michelle Williams, but then other people have told me that's wrong, so I don't know.
Oh.
But she's blonde and petite and pretty,
Right,
and that slightly
right.
kind of ethereal feel about her, Megan.
Yeah. So you wrote some books previously.
I did,
Some
yes.
fiction, and under Amy Silver was your
Yes,
pseudonym.
my
so-
pseudonym, yes.
Yeah.
So those were sort of what they call chicklet in England. I'm not sure if the
We call it
there's a
chicklet here,
yeah.
but chicklet is sometimes
It's a-
people think of it
it's
in
a
a,
dero-
in a-
yeah.
But it for us we
You know
don't
what I mean?
think
It's
of-
a romantic fiction,
Right, right.
type.
Right. So this is a change, and I'm guessing
Yeah.
you like writing more in this genre.
Yeah,
right?
that was a slightly odd situation where I was actually commissioned to write the first of
Okay.
those books. Somebody
Okay.
else gave me the idea, so it didn't really come from me, which is why it was under a pseudonym. Whereas
Yeah.
this is all very much my.
Yeah.
book.
So you're a former financial journalist.
Mm-hmm.
So writing about finances, property, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And London Times or whatever you had some of your stuff published. So those years, you were 15 years as a financial journalist.
On and off, yeah.
Yeah.
15 years. Yeah.
So what do you think those experiences as that type of writer, has that contributed? I mean, has it helped you writing fiction, do you think?
Well, I guess it helps in terms of things like you're good at meeting deadlines, organisation, research. So it helps with that sort of slightly drier side. Also, I think just writing for the newspapers actually is good for your writing in general.
Right,
It teaches
sure.
you to be concise and not to use loads of adverbs and things. But obviously it's very different subject matter, so it
Sure.
hasn't translated over much in the other ways.
And you grew up in Zimbabwe.
I did. I was born in
Yeah.
Zimbabwe and lived there till I was 17.
Yeah.
And then I moved to London.
So do you miss part of where you grew up, or do you? I'm sure you get back if your family's
I
still
haven't
there.
been for a while, but yeah, I mean, it was a very lovely upbringing. Lots of sunshine and a very outdoorsy life. But actually, I'm not much of a sun worshipper. I'm quite happy in like miserable English weather. So.
Okay, well, we're having
It
that
suits
kind of
my
weather here in
mood.
Chicago. Chicago, right, too. So, when was your first recollection that you wanted to be a writer? How young were you? And do you remember what it is, that first thing you might have written?
I did love creative writing as a child. I can't remember a particular story or anything, but that was my sort of strongest. That was the sort of lesson I always looked forward to at school, and English was my favourite subject, I suppose, going through English language and literature.
Okay. And what are you working on now? Did I read that there's a follow-up?
No, there's no follow-up.
I didn't think so. So, because
I'm
that would be
doing-
hard to follow this up.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Their
yeah.
stories have been
Right.
told, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm writing another a psychological thriller, which I'm kind of in the middle of. I'm not really at the talking about it too much stage.
Yeah.
I think it will appeal to a very similar audience.
Okay.
I hope it will. I hope there'll be a similar kind of atmosphere to it.
Yeah.
Quite dark, twisted, gothic.
Oh, good. Oh, ooh, gothic. I like the gothic part you've added in. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds great. So, what do you hope people will take away from reading The Girl on the Train?
Well, I mean, obviously, I hope that they think it's a compelling and exciting read.
Right.
But I mean, I think it also says things about some issues about. Well, obviously, there's the alcoholism, about women's perceptions of each other and themselves, about relationships. So I hope there's a bit more meat to it than just a sort of throwaway thriller.
Oh, there definitely is. There definitely is. No worries there. Okay, so Paula, I end these little interviews with a quiz. So
Okay.
No worries. You know all the answers. So,
Okay.
so no pressure here. So you're guaranteed a top score. Okay. All right. Because these are easy. You know the answer. So whatever comes to mind, or you can have more than one answer. Okay. What was your favorite book when you were a child?
Ooh, it would probably be. When you say child, what age are we talking?
You know, up to 10 years old, maybe.
It's do you know Enid Blyton?
Oh gosh,
yeah,
yes.
you do. I'm
Oh,
never
yes.
sure whether these things.
Oh, no, no,
So it
no,
would
no.
have been a famous 5 book.
Yeah.
It would have been the first famous 5 book.
Okay.
Don't ask me what that was called. It would have been a famous 5 book.
That's okay. Okay. What about maybe when you were a teenager? Do you remember anything that you liked?
I went through a big Agatha Christie phase actually, and then there were
Well, that
none.
makes sense.
Which was I think published under various titles of varying political incorrectness.
Right.
But it's called There None now.
Right. Okay. And what about when you were at university? Anything like maybe something you studied or something that's really stayed with you since then?
I think The Secret History by Donna Tartt, which I read when I first started college, and it's all that thing about being surrounded by really, really clever people. And also I loved it as a thriller that had real literary merit, which was a new thing for me.
She's such an incredible writer.
Yeah,
I think she's just really
amazing.
great. Okay, what about a book, any book you read your entire life that you've been an evangelist for that you could not tell enough people they had to read it?
Ooh, When Will There Be Good News by Kate Atkinson.
Oh,
I'm a big Kate Atkinson fan.
yeah, she has a new book coming out soon. We're excited.
I've read it.
Okay, and what did you think?
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
Okay, cool. Okay, have you ever read a book for its cover? Like I would look at Girl on the Train and go, I gotta read that one just from the cover.
I'm not sure that I probably have, but I can't think
Can't
of
remember
one
which
right
one
now.
it is. Yeah.
And I don't tend to be that swayed by covers,
Okay.
actually.
Okay. No, that's good.
I'm afraid.
Okay. All right. Here's the other question on the flip side. Have you ever faked reading anything? More of us do it in school.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. I'm sure that I have. I'm probably told somebody that I've read Madame Bovary, which I haven't read.
That's
which is a shocking omission.
That's okay. We'll take it. We all have to admit that we haven't. You know. Yeah. Okay. What writers would you say would be the biggest influence on you, especially with writing, the thriller sort of genre now?
Well, as I suppose my interest in crime started with people like Agatha Christie, and then people like Donna Tartt, showing that there were so many possibilities in this sort of genre.
Yeah.
But I read a lot of psychological thrillers. I love Megan Abbott's Tana French. Loads of people. Paula Daly. There's an awful lot of people writing really good stuff. Louise Doughty, A.S.A. Harrison. Lots of people.
Right. Okay. If you had a dinner, and you could invite 3 people outside of yourself, alive or dead.
Literary people.
Let's think literary. If you want to add someone else in there, you can do that too. Who would those 3 be to have a great dinner conversation?
Dorothy Parker.
Oh gosh. Good choice.
Virginia Woolf.
Ooh. Lots of drinking in there.
And, oh, gosh. Who else can I have? Emily Bronte.
Whoa. The Bronte part is a surprise. That would be really
I love
interesting.
Wuthering Heights.
Yeah.
Wuthering Heights is an amazing book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That would be a very interesting conversation. Okay, and what are you reading now or just read recently? Something that's...
I'm reading a book called Unbecoming by Rebecca Sherm, which is amazing. It's really, really beautifully written. I'm really enjoying it.
Okay, great. All right, you did very well.
Thank
A+.
you. Thanks very much.
Okay, well, Paula, thank you so much for sitting down and talking with me. Congratulations on Girl on the Train.
Thank you.
Wow, we're all just blown away by this book. So congratulations, and come back and see us with your next book.
I will do.
What a fantastic discussion. A book that has a twist you won't believe. You got to read this one. It's a New York Times #1. It's The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. Thanks for joining me on Authors Revealed.